If you own SoFi stock, you need to watch this now. Hello, beautiful people. Shalom, money makers. SoFi stock is in a very interesting situation right now. We're going to cover what's happening geopolitically right now that could be affecting the stock market and SoFi stock. Plus, what is happening with SoFi stock just from a technical analysis standpoint? What are we looking at to see potentially happen here for SoFi stock in the next coming weeks? Now, all I ask from you is that you give me a beautiful smile to send out those good vibes. Smishity smash that like button and let's get into it. Please read the disclaimer. So right now, SoFi stock is sitting at $16.47, slightly under $16.50 here for SoFi stock. Last night we saw SoFi stock and the whole stock market actually initially jump up in the morning, but then sell off big, coinciding with the announcement from President Trump that an Apache helicopter was shot down in the Strait of Hormuz. Then during the night, we got news that the U.S. struck back and hit two drinking water tanks in Sirik, southern Iran, cutting off all drinking water for the district. And Iran has warned that 2 hours it will immediately place all regional Gulf energy infrastructure under continual missile fire. What's interestingly, after what happened here, is that overnight trading is right now red, and the Asian or Eastern Asian stock markets are collapsing, and even South Korean exchange activated a circuit breaker after the KOSE SPI falls minus 6%, with over 300 billion wiped out. But it looks like right now that overnight trading is okay for the stock market. It's still a little bit early. It's 1 hour before pre-market, so we don't really know exactly, but futures are up a little bit, right? You can see here. And more interestingly, oil is not popped. So when you have a situation where Iran is threatening to go after energy infrastructure, you would think that oil would be popping right now, but that is not what's going on. And oil is sitting at $88 per barrel. That's crude, and Brent is at 90. So this is an interesting situation. You would think that with things escalating and things getting a little bit hotter right now in the Middle East, that oil prices would be going up, but they're not. So what I'm thinking here right now is that the markets, the oil market, is looking at this as kind of okay, this is just, I'll do you a little bit, you do me. And then we'll get back to the negotiation table, that this is not a warning that we're going to see full escalation here. Precious metals are also telling us a similar story, with silver dropping yesterday from 68 all the way down to 64 and not really recovering that much, and gold is at 4,200. This is the lowest level that we've seen for gold, if it holds on the daily chart, close, right? Since back in, even, what is this, December, somewhere around that. So a long time, more than 6-7 months ago. Silver still has a little bit, but also if it closes at this level, this will be the lowest daily close also since December. So what the market is telling us, is this precious metal market, is that the fear of WW3 is over, right? Because that was the fear running up into this, that this could potentially happen into the end of the year. There was also that whole crunch with silver shortages in China, but still, silver and gold were running, right? And so that means that people are a little bit reducing their quote unquote fear. What's the word I'm looking for? All right. I can't remember. English is my second language. So sometimes, you know how this is, words just, they escape you, right? Um, people go to gold and silver when there's uncertainty, right? You could call it a recession guarantee, fear guarantee. That's what I was looking for. And so they're releasing it, right? They're taking profits. They're selling it back to the market. It could be that people are getting ready for the SpaceX IPO. That is a possibility. Although Tom Lee says that 7 trillion on the sidelines SpaceX IPO won't mark the top. Lee believes demand for the SpaceX IPO is already overwhelming available shares, with huge capital waiting on the sidelines. History shows us that SpaceX IPO should not actually mark the market top. It's actually rare a big IPO marks the top. So that's going to be interesting. I think that especially because it's Friday. Friday is always crazy day in the stock market because of options expiring. So I think it could be a crazy day. And historically, whenever we have these very hyped up IPOs, they do good for about a day or two of trading, and then they start selling off. It doesn't mean that that's what's going to happen with SpaceX here, but because of the hype, I think that a lot of excitement is going to happen on the first day, and then you might see some selling. Of course, there is a lockup period for specific stocks, but I think that we're already going to see some release in the first few days after the weekend and things have been processed. Again, it could go bananas the first week or so, but just history has told us similar stocks like I just remember these specifically Robinhood that had a big first initial few days and then started selling off. I also remember ARM just because I was on vacation and I was looking at it and it also popped up on the first day or two and then sold off. And so this happens, right? Even Meta initially back in the day, had that big pop up, right, and then started selling off. So this was already years ago, right? When was this? 2012, but similar. You saw it popped up big on the first day and then started coming back, and then only when earnings start coming out and they start showing good numbers, people started coming and jumping on the bandwagon. So I think that's what we'll probably see. And again, a lot of liquidity could be getting sucked out of the stock market, but it doesn't mean that necessarily that it's going to be the end. But what is important today specifically is that we have CPI coming out today at 8:30 a.m. Eastern time. And if inflation numbers are good and oil prices stay down here today, I think the market will react positively. But if the CPI numbers are bad or higher than expected, and oil starts suddenly jumping up because things start kicking off, then that would be a bad situation. It means inflation is going to get higher, and the probabilities of the new Fed chairman reducing interest rates go down. We saw what the job reports did on Friday, and the market collapsed. Right, so things are very tense right now, and we'll see what will happen. From a technical analysis standpoint here for SoFi, listen, some people are seeing some people are seeing a falling wedge and potential breakout, and others are seeing here a compression, and others are seeing double bottom. Someone might be able to see here an inverse head and shoulders, or a regular head and shoulders, or a pregnant lady. Everybody sees something different in graphs. That's why I like support and resistance. I like using indicators because when you look at graphs and you see things, oh, this looks like a double bottom and then it doesn't break out, or this looks like a head and shoulders and then it doesn't happen, or this looks like a cup and handle, this is for sure going to break out. If technical analysis like that always worked, everybody would use it and everybody would be a billionaire and a trillionaire, but it doesn't. So it doesn't work like that. So it will be very interesting to see what happens here. Again, we have resistance and support levels here for SoFi. We have a potential crossover on the 13 EMA, which is not a given. You can see, for example, right here that it was a sell buy and then another sell signal, and that didn't play out. But here initially, when we got that buy signal, after coming from a sell signal that was far away, it seems that when you have these close ones, it doesn't play out. Or when you have something like this where the price really didn't drop that dramatically, then it has less of an effect. But when you have something like this where the price dropped and then came back, it's more effective. So that's what we have now. The price dropped and then potentially came back. So we'll see. Again, it's not a for sure thing, but it does give us an indication that there's high probability. We're also sitting at a situation right now when the stochastic RSI went all the way to the top when we jumped up here back to 1891 for SoFi. And now it's come back towards the bottom and hasn't hit the low point, but if the market is positive over the next few days, maybe we could see SoFi break out. And then the resistance level for SoFi would be around 19.2. Some people, will give this a zone and try to mark it out. I don't like using that much, but you can use that if you like. Okay. Don't forget to smash the like button. Remember, this video is for educational purposes, for entertainment purposes only, not financial advice. Always do your own due diligence before you decide to invest. Thank you for watching. I hope to see you next time. And like I always say, let's make a lot of money.